Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us here on KTN News for yet another edition of Choice 2017. A lot of things happening on the political scene, and where else to get the best analysis but here on Choice 2017 tonight. Many thanks for joining us. A number of things we will be focusing on. Leaders have been picking their running mates, those aspiring to be governors in various counties. Nairobi specifically, this week Miguna as well as Mike Mbuvi Sonko have picked their running mates. So what really is in a running mate? What does a running mate bring on the table? What change or will they bring to the lives of the people whom these leaders want to lead? We have a number of running mates here on studio. They will be talking to us about that. NASA has threatened to boycott elections. That is also one of the topics we will be speaking to us about here. And the 10 million voters that NASA is talking about, and Kaiseri says it is incitement. Do you think so? My name is Akisa Wandera. Choice 2017 begins now. All right, I'll just introduce our guests in studio. On my right, we have Odoyo Widi, who is a political analyst. Thank you very much for coming. And Peter Mizuki, he is the running mate to gubernatorial aspirant for Machakos County, Wavinya Ndeti, under the Wiper ticket. Thank you, Peter, for coming in. We are also expecting Richard Kavemba, a political analyst, as well as Deputy Governor for Nairobi County, Jonathan Mweke, and a number of analysts as well. This is Choice 2017. Gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mizuki, let me just start with you.
Yes.
Why did you decide to be the running mate to Wavinya Ndeti?
Thank you very much for hosting me. And, you know, as you already said, in the beginning we had agreed that indeed I was a Wiper governor candidate. And, you know, we realized the problem was that we had only one opponent, and that was the incumbent. And we realized that, of course, Honorable Wavinya Ndeti was contesting. Last time she did, she scored close to 100,000 votes. She comes from Mavoko, Kaviani, and that's a rich vote area. And for sure, I come from the northern part of Machakos, that's Masinga Yata. And when you talk about politics, you talk about numbers. And therefore, I said, you know, we must really compromise. And therefore, Wavinya Ndeti, I've known her, she's tried, she's tested. I said, this is a lady. And this is a time, and strong men don't fight women, you know. They support women. And Wavinya Ndeti is got to the task. And also, secondly, because we had agreed, then we entered into an agreement. In my own case, with the Honorable Wavinya Ndeti, we entered into an agreement. That was a 50-50, and we registered this agreement with the registrar of political parties. And that, again, that was supported by the leaders, our local leaders down there. And I said, yes, why not? Wavinya is equal to the task.
So what are we saying? Wavinya had bigger numbers than you had, and you decided to pull all your resources in terms of numbers in this particular election?
We said if we go to an election against the incumbent, divided, we are going to lose. And therefore we said, why can't we have one candidate against the incumbent? And we strategically agreed that now we should now collapse and make one ticket. And that required a lot of compromises and a lot of give and take. And therefore I said, since Wavinya argued that she was a party leader of a CCU, I was the National Deputy Secretary of Wiper. She is coming to Wiper as a member. And she said, I've sacrificed Peter, honestly, coming from a party leader to being a member. And therefore I said, yeah, you don't chase somebody when they come to your house, you welcome them. And therefore, Wavinya said, please welcome on board to Wiper. She stood with Wiper. And therefore I said, yes, I'm ready. Because I'd promised her this. If you come to Wiper, I will leave it to you.
All right.
And therefore that I was only now keeping that promise, which is very important.
Why do you think this strategy is going to work for them?
You know, here there are two strategies. The strategy for the candidates and the strategy for the party and the coalition. The strategy for the coalition is to get a winning combination. Because you realize that Machakos has a governor who rebelled against his own party. And I think he used the media a lot to exaggerate what he actually did to that county. So I think it was time to get him out and also demonstrate that if we take you to a position of leadership, and you rebel against us, we can push you out. And I think Wiper went out of its way to get a winning combination. And I believe in it. I trust it will win.
But Governor Mutua is seen as one of the governors who've performed well in their respective counties. Of course, despite of
you just
the kind of scandals that have dogged his
You
tenure.
just said it. He's seen. The perception is that he's really worked. But if you want to count what he has done and what the other governors have done, he's no better than any of them. I think because he was a spokesman sometimes and he was too close to the media, he exploited that to have the media report everything he does. Even if he just made a toilet, it will be in the media and it will be all over the place. And I think that gave the people the impression that he really worked hard. But I really doubt if he did it any better than the neighboring governors.
Bernard Kiala, who is a deputy governor for Machakos County, has alleged that Wavinya Ndeti signed a deal with Wiper for her to leave her party and come in and vie as the gubernatorial aspirant for Machakos.
Yes.
Is this true?
Yeah, you see, in any political party, you look through so many realities. And these are called what you call political realities. My brother said it correctly. As a party, you must make sure that you go through, you come up with a winning strategy. And this particular case, we said, politics is about numbers. Honorable Wavinya Ndeti is coming here from a region, part of Machakos, which is very rich in terms of votes. And Kiala coming from the other part. Actually, we come from the same ward with him. I come from the same ward with him. And given those realities, we said, fine, we want to look for a winning team. What people Machakos are looking for is somebody who is not involved in what has been happening in Machakos. If you look through Machakos 2013 up to date, much of it has been seen a lot of fights between leadership. And now, Kiala, unfortunately, is being caught into that, fighting with Mutua, and now the voters are saying, we don't want to be treated into these kind of scenes again. We want a fresh team. And actually, my brother is correct to say, indeed, Mutua is on his way out. And therefore, Bernard Kiala, fine, he said, fine, no, we entered into an agreement, we felt this is a winning, and we agreed with him, please come on board so that we work and still form a team. Because politically speaking, in terms of numbers, we knew he may not have that much. And therefore, we come on board, but he felt, no, I want to go for it.
But Kiala has been seen to sacrifice a lot for the party, even when when Governor Mutua rebelled against the party. Kiala has been seen to be holding fort for the party in Machakos. Was he disenfranchised?
And that's what I'm saying. The manifesto, which actually they borrowed heavily from the party, Wiper Party, much of it was not about actually the fights. And therefore, as a party, we felt it was not necessary to get into fights between two people who chose to do that. We had, and even the Wananchi had told them what to do, uniting people, working for them, even making sure the poverty levels are down, and that kind of a thing. And therefore, Wananchi, seeing people now, leaders who are really fighting. And therefore, now we felt it was not necessary. And therefore, issue of sacrificing, and so for what? Because again, you sacrifice based on actually what you were supposed to do. And therefore, I think much of what he was supposed to do, he never did. And again, Wananchi is looking at, we sent you to work to deliver the following. It's not about fighting for the party. What he was doing was not part of the assignment that he was sent for by Wananchi.
All right, we're getting back into this discussion. Take a look at what really would be your role as a running mate. But let's take a look at one of the stories here. Kwale Governor Salim Mvurya is facing the test of a lifetime defending his seat, while at the same time selling Jubilee Party in the county, largely presumed to be an opposition stronghold. But what key factors will determine the voting patterns for key elective seats in the county? Our political affairs reporter Murimi Mwangi delves deeper into this.
With close to 200,000 registered voters, county number 2, the county of Kwale is on the spotlight. The heat began with the defection of Governor Salim Mvurya from ODM to the ruling Jubilee Party.
My names are Dr. Isa Athmani Chipera.
And now, 3 opposition-inclined candidates are in the race to unseat the governor. These are immediate former Kenyan ambassador to Tanzania, Chirau Ali Mwakwere, on the Wiper ticket, Isa Chipera on ODM, and County Assembly Speaker Sami Rua as an independent candidate.
Kuna tabia ya watu fulani kudivert attention. Atimara hii ni ODM zone. Sijui hii ni ngome ya upinzani. Hii sio ngome ya upinzani, ni ngome ya watu ambao wanapenda maendeleo na yanapatikana Jubilee.
Political pundits in the South Coast intimate that Mvurya will be banking on his development track record in the past 4 years. But observers argue that the ODM-elected governor will be facing a stand test selling the ruling Jubilee Party in the county, presumed to be largely affiliated to the opposition.
People of Kwale know that Jubilee hasn't delivered for them. The people of Kwale, despite Kwale County being one of the richest counties in the country, the residents of Kwale County are still poor.
There was lack of information. People were brainwashed that any party that is being led by a Kikuyu is not a good party. That was the problem. But we've been educating people on the party, the Jubilee Party.
However, beneath the fierce backroom jostle for the top elective seats in Kwale County is the not so publicly talked about influence of Mombasa Governor Hassan Ali Joho on the Kwale political campus. During the just concluded primaries, 2 political factions emerged in the ODM contingent in Kwale. One, dubbed Okwa Kwale, comprising of candidates such as gubernatorial aspirant Issa Chipera. This one said to be opposed to Joho's hand in the county. Joho has reportedly been expanding his political base beyond Mombasa and strategically placing his allies across the 6 coastal counties. But Rua, who said to be Joho's right-hand man in Kwale, however, downplayed the Joho factor in Kwale politics.
Tumekata shauri na tunapambana vilivyo na tumejipanga kisawasawa. Kwa hivyo swala la kuwa ati baada ya mgawanyiko wa vyama vya upinzani pengine Jubilee itapata nafasi, sio Kwale.
In 2013, the Orange Party clinched the gubernatorial, senatorial and woman representative seats in Kwale, as well as 2 of the 4 parliamentary positions, Ford Kenya and TNA winning the other 2 seats. The presidential voting pattern in Kwale was similar to the trend across the coastal strip. Opposition leader Raila Odinga garnering 101,000 votes and President Uhuru Kenyatta getting 17,000 votes.
Kwa miaka mitano hatujaona lolote lile ambalo limefanyika kwa upande wa Jubilee. Ndio maana tunasema sisi kwamba Kwale County ni ODM zone.
Ukisema ukweli, kimaendeleo chama cha Jubilee imefanya kimiradi. Kwa mfano kama upande wa electricity. Sasa ukiangalia street nyingi za Kwale kama hapa Ukunda, mataa imewekwa.
For the last 4 years, the Jubilee Party has been trying to make inroads into Kwale and now insists that the South Coast is a swing vote. But the opposition under the National Super Alliance NASA has vowed to sweep all the seats and a majority of the presidential vote. Muremi Mwangi, KTN News, Kwale County.
All right, thank you very much, Murimi, for that. Let's get back to our studio discussion. But first, I will introduce our guests who've just joined us. Kumwai Bonke on my far right, a political analyst. Thank you for making it here, as well as Richard Kavemba, political analyst. Just before you came in, we have been talking about running mates and what goes in when picking running mates and what this would mean for the aspirant who wants to be governor. Bonke, this week, we've seen Sonko pick Polycarp Igathe, Miguna pick former Laikipia University leader. What conversations did you think went on prior to the picking of these 2 people as running mates?
Well, I'll start with Miguna. You know, Miguna wants to attract the young people he wants to attract young Nairobians. So, you know, Miguna knows very well that he has lost it because Miguna is in bad records in this country. By insulting, including women like you. You cannot call Miguna here for a discussion with an innocent woman like you. You won't even respect your husband, your family, and everything. So he's trying to rebrand his reputation, of which he's not going to make it. Miguna is just one of the political mad people we have around in this country. He's an embarrassment in the world of legal practice. and we don't celebrate him because you remember when
But there are people who celebrate him.
well, those are those who vote through Twitter, you know. But common Mwananchi, Miguna has no solution for Nairobians. So Miguna, you cannot even compare him among the gubernatorial race of Nairobi. So he's been abusing Sonko, and what Miguna does not know is that he's been marketing Sonko big time. Sonko is a big threat to Miguna. That's why every time he's on air, he will call Sonko all sorts of names. If he claims to be more learned and well-read more than Sonko, why is Sonko being a topic? Anytime you call Miguna, he will tell you how Sonko is a drug dealer, Sonko is a shenanigan, he's an academic dwarf and everything.
But Sonko has now picked a
And he has
technocrat.
Sonko has never responded to Miguna. That tells you how intelligent Sonko is. Even the devil fears silence. And Miguna has never asked himself why Sonko is so quiet. So Miguna is not part of, we cannot discuss Miguna. I don't want to waste airtime to discuss Miguna.
All right, let's go
now
to Polycarp
for
Igade.
Polycarp, you know, Polycarp is one of the professionals, and you know, he has been running Viva, yeah, and this energy company.
Vivo, yes.
Yeah, Vivo, and Polycarp will work with Sonko so well. And again, Sonko is a young man we should celebrate as Kenyans, because people like Miguna and other Kenyans from the opposition. Mm-hmm. I'm a political analyst, like Kini from Jubilee. Mm-hmm. So I'll be specific, mm-hmm. right? If you analyze Sonko politics, Sonko, there are people who believe in Sonko's leadership. It doesn't matter his level of education. It doesn't matter his broken English and everything. But Sonko has touched Wamboi and Akinyi in Kibra and Mukuru Ruben. A woman will tell you, Wamboi will tell you in Wakuru, or Andeti, a lady from Mukambani in Mukuru Njenga, that Sonko paid for my son's school fees. Sonko, when my husband died, he took responsibility of everything. So Sonko is one of our leaders we need to celebrate, and is a big threat. And Honorable, the current governor, Kidero, is going to get it quite tough.
Oscar Owidi doesn't seem to be agreeing.
Yes,
with
I know. Owidi is there, and that's why I'm pushing it.
Let's let him speak. Polycarp Igade and
I think
Miguna
I need to help my friend. First of all, elective positions, be it governor, be it MP, they are roles of these people. Mm. You just don't pick anybody because he's popular with the lower echelons of society. A governor has a role that he's going to play. Mm. What I do agree with, you get a running mate that can fill in the gaps. Mm-hmm. If you have an inadequacy, like Sonko actually had inadequacy. He's not a technocrat. I don't think he can manage anything. But remember also, the law does not allow the deputy to take over the roles of a governor. Mm. So I can tell you for free that the Sonko-Igade partnership is not going to last the first week. In fact, it will be in the streets, because Polycarp Igade will come with his technocratism into this thing. And Sonko will become with his populism into this thing. And then he will make decisions that are unacceptable in law. The other guy will make decisions that are unacceptable in politics, and it is not going to work. These two people are a mismatch. Mm-hmm. You know, people, you can bring somebody who fill in your political inadequacies like them.
Okay.
Bringing people from the other end and this end, and they come together and they win. But this one is not going to work.
Kavemba, is this a mismatch? Is Sonko Igade a mismatch?
Now, first, you know, it's good that he talked about filling in the gaps and issues of inadequacies. And it's good to give Sonko credit, because Sonko has publicly been actually admitting that there are inadequacies. That's why he's been saying he needs to get a deputy who's a technocrat, because he knows that's not what he's good at. So first we have to give credit to him for getting someone who really complements him well, because this is a technocrat. This is someone who's been in the private sector for long enough and who's proven ability. At least he's not presided over a company that has been run down, like we know of other people, probably the current governor has that kind of history. So let's give credit to Sonko. Secondly, about populism. You see, one of my teachers along the way in politics taught me that there are three things that you look for in a leader. One is character. Actually, he called them the 3 C's of leadership: character, competence, and care, concern for the people. And if I was to evaluate those three, I would put care as the most important. And what makes Sonko beat everybody else is the fact that he's demonstrated care and concern for people's welfare more than these other guys. If it's about competence, Kidero obviously is more competent, more qualified than Sonko. Character, we can't talk much about that. But care, none of these politicians who want to be governor have demonstrated care and concern for public welfare. All the things that he's spoken about that Sonko is known to do is a demonstration of, so what needs to happen is what he has done. He brings in people who will tell him how to actualize whatever he's been doing in a populist manner in a way that is, policy-based.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to Miguna. Miguna, speak.
Miguna, let me say that first about his choice of running mate. I want to agree that he's attracting the young Kenyans. But, our politics has its own dynamics. And when you're running as an independent, you're really, it is not very easy for you to have a sizable chunk. Because these people, especially now, you see, even last time was better, we had Mudavadi. Now we only have two teams here. We have NASA and we have Jubilee. Most of the voters will align along that. And you really have to be exceptionally good for you to survive that. Let me give you an example. Esther Passaris in the last election, she'd gotten more than 286,000 votes on a KNC ticket. Now that was something. That also showed clout because she was not in any of the...
Yeah.
But none of the other politicians who was outside demonstrated such kind of ability. So it's not easy.
All right.
Yeah.
Mizuki, they have all talked about
Yes.
a running mate filling in the gaps.
Yeah.
What gaps would you be filling for Vivian Ndeti as her running mate?
What you're saying is true. Complementarity is very important in politics, and that is for sure. But in my case, it's different from what they're saying. Remember, right from the beginning, I was a governor candidate for Wiper, and Honorable Wavinya was from CCO. But again, based on so many parameters and factors which we've spoken earlier, we agreed let's form a team. And then I said, Wavinya has been to it. Wavinya is coming from a vote-rich area, that kind of a thing. And with all this, I felt, yes, Wavinya can deliver. And I looked through character of Wavinya in terms of delivery and how she also relates with people. I said, yes, I will not be making any loss to associate myself with Honorable Wavinya. And therefore, I said, yeah, that is it. Besides now the geography of Machakos, where Wavinya comes from this part of Machakos, the southern part of Machakos, I come from the other side.
So you complement each other. No one is filling in gaps.
Complementarity is important in this. It's not, gaps are there, obviously, in terms of she has her own strength as a human being, as a leader, and she has her own weaknesses as well. And therefore, no one is perfect. And therefore, even some areas that I may not... remember, I have been a member of parliament in the East African Legislative Assembly. And therefore, people kept on saying, yes, Peter is good in terms of profile. Look at his profile. He would add a lot of value to this leadership. And therefore, if he comes on board, but look at the politics and the numbers, because politics is also about numbers. I come from an area, they say the numbers are slightly lower than where Honorable Wavinya comes from. So it's about now forming a team. It's about teamwork. It's about complementarity. It's about what you're calling filling gaps and stuff. But to me, the most important thing is the perception. Once you form a team, how do the public perceive you? And I think that is why we are getting the seat to Machakos.
Sounds very confident. I want us to go to something else. NASA still is threatening to boycott the elections if IEBC does not withdraw the case at the Court of Appeal. Do you think they have valid reasons for this decision they're taking? I'll start with you, Kavemba.
For the threat for boycotting
elections, do they have valid reasons? And what would this mean? What would it mean for this country?
Yeah, let me not say that. They have valid reasons. The question is whether the threat for boycott is the right way to go about it. That should really be my issue, because the concerns are there. Because if this is a matter that was taken to court and the court made a decision, then if it was worth the attention of the court and it's decided on it, then it's really an important matter, even for this country. And I know you know the details of the matter. It's really something that is fundamentally changing the way we do our politics, because it simply means that we don't actually have to be told by anyone the final tally. We can tell just by knowing the results from the different. So we don't even have probably to have a formal you know, we will know, just like probably when we are watching the foreign elections,
Yeah.
we can take
can
which
actually do the
state, and
calculations from
everybody
your
does
house.
that. And
Yeah.
that is a level of transparency that I wouldn't mind as a Kenyan. You know, there are things that are beyond any political, so anything that strengthens our electoral process, I wouldn't mind an amicable solution that will take us forward
So
in terms of how we manage our elections. So the thing is the threat for boycott the right way?
Is
Because
this
this
the
is a
best
matter.
way?
No,
Yeah.
that's the question for me. That's why I told you the issue, the concern is there. It's valid. This is a matter that needs to be agreed on. But is the threat for boycott the right way? That one is where probably we part ways because of obvious reasons. This is in a law court of law, and some of these statements and you know, threats, you can interpret them, and probably rightly so, as trying to intimidate or influence the court using other means that are not allowed in the due process of law. So for that, I would part ways in terms of the kind of threats, but in as far as we need to agree on how we really want to conduct this election, and we need to agree in a way that everybody feels like, okay, this is really in the interest of fairness.
Okay, quickly,
Yes.
Bonke, what do you think?
Well, the issue is NASA. You know, they've sensed some defeat, and if they're complaining about the IEBC, then you'd ask yourself, the way ODM conducted their primaries, is that what we call credible process of running an election? Because everybody's complaining in down there in Nyanza. Remember in Homa Bay, Migori, where Obado and Uchila Yako, they had the certificate at the same time. So you'd ask yourself, ODM nowadays, they produce 2 certificates at the same time. And these people, they've collected money from them.
But are the reasons they have valid?
No, they're not valid. They're valid according to your analysis. But based on whatever they're complaining about, they're not valid. They're just trying to poison the brains of their supporters that Jubilee, they've sensed that Jubilee is going to win this election. When they were propelling the propaganda of Unga, we've reduced the Unga 1 kg at 47
I bet a lot of issues surrounding it.
What kind of issues? Those are brokers who are complaining. We've been negotiating with them, and they refuse to agree with the government. So we could not listen to brokers, yet Kenyans are complaining. Wamboi and Akinyi is complaining. Then we listen to an individual who want to make money out of poor Kenyans. We said, no, we can import it. But we have got a solution. You know what we lack in this country? We lack solution-oriented opposition. That's what we lack in this country. NASA has been complaining all over, but they don't have solution to our problems. When they're talking about corruption, they cannot tell Kenyans the solution to corruption we have in this country. When they're talking about the IEBC, they cannot tell us how we can rebrand and make IEBC to be a credible body. So whatever they are trying to complain, those are just threats. Let them, if they want to boycott, it's okay. Then the nature will judge whatever decision they're going to make.
All right, hold on to that thought. We will continue. We want to take a short break. But remember, my colleague Ben Kitile comes in next with the top of the hour with KTN Primetime News. Ben, what do we expect at 9 p.m.?
Indeed, thanks, Akisa. Very interesting discussion there you're having about the running mates in the second in command in the counties. Yeah, at the top of the hour on KTN Prime Ahead, we have a lot for you. Of course, the story that has refused to go away, the skyrocketing cost of basic commodities. We have a new dimension to the story. The government now saying that there could have been some hoarding of the maize, something that has continued to elicit mixed reactions and a lot of debate, especially on social media. We have some politics for you on Spotlight 2017, a very interesting case of mother and son in the constituency of Bomet East. Beatrice Kones, the widow of the late Skip Kalia Kones, going head-to-head against her son, that is Kipngetich Kones, in the parliamentary battle of Bomet East. So that is some of the stories we have ahead on KTN Prime, Akisa.
All right, Ben, we'll definitely be looking forward for that. But if you want to engage with us, tweet us at KTN News, at Akisa Wandera. You can also call in on numbers that will be put on your screen. But for now, let's take a short break. Don't go too far. This is Choice 2017.